Good morning, ladies and gents. So, we started in on health potions yesterday. I want to finish them off today. Hopefully. Let's see how much we can get done at least. The idea being that so far we've got the health potion. It exists as an item. We got to dump it into somebody's inventory. This poor warrior is probably just like, I don't know. He pretty much gets one of everything. I just realized that I think I might have put something in his hand, so let's remove that. Yeah, there we go. So let's dump a couple health potions into his inventory, replace some of these spare weapons that are sitting around. And the neat thing about a lot of the framework we made before is that the framework already works for just the fact that we made a new item. We don't even have to do any additional work. There's no crazy stuff attached to it. It's just kind of there. It works. And even though there isn't really any functionality for it quite yet, you can't like click on it and do anything. That's what the next step is about. So we've already got this. I essentially need to come up with some kind of context menu for when you click on things. And then once I get the context menu going, we need to put a use item on certain items that are usable. Well, Dragon Sticks, I'm glad you could join me today. Definitely the morning, kind of the first like couple minutes of the stream, the first like 5 to 10 minutes tends to be kind of quiet in comparison to, I just realized I put the sword in the wrong hand for this poor guy. Let's fix that, because otherwise he's not going to use it. I'm pretty sure that sword being a right-handed only item and the fact that combat relies on right-handed items. There we go. Now that it's in the correct hand, now it'll trigger. Okay, so let's see here. There's a couple pieces. One, we need the context menu, some kind of drop down when you click on the item so that we can say, this is usable. Probably going to come from the item UI. I'm trying to think of like a good way to do this. Yeah, just a new script I think is going to be the way to go. What's hilarious is, note how many scripts we've already got for just like items, right? I don't actually know why a combat action script is in here. Yeah, what? What am I doing? How did that get there? But like consumables, inventory UI, slot UI, weapon item, and we're not even done. Like we've got armor, we've got wands, we've got like story items, like all kinds of stuff. So this is just going to expand. And partially that's because part of the fun of playing an RPG is finding cool things and looking at them in your inventory and assigning them to the right people. And like inventory management is a huge part of games like this. So I'm not really surprised that items is kind of ballooning like this. At the same time, it is kind of hilarious. So I've got this inventory item UI. I'm kind of tempted to see what I got here and see if I can make use of any of this. Yes, thank you. It does not help that some programs like to use certain line endings, and then you open it up in Visual Studio, and Visual Studio is just not having it. So pretty simple stuff, right? We've got the begin drag, on drag, and end to drag. Don't care about that so much. The big thing I really care about right now is finding a way to do an on click. And I'm pretty sure, I'm not certain, but there's either an interface I can tack onto this, or I could just add a event trigger. So I get for not doing my homework beforehand. How to apply an on-click handler. There we go. That's for a button. It's not what I'm hunting for. I'm looking for interfaces like the drag handler. because that's really, like, it should be alongside these. Deselect handler, drop, and drag. Pointer click handler. There we go. Interface to implement if you wish to receive on-pointer click callbacks. And what are on-pointer click callbacks? I don't know, because your documentation is garbage. Great. See, this is why you don't leave things blank. People go looking for information, and when they find blank, it just is not a good sign. The I pointer click handler. I hope this really differentiates between, like, pointer click and a lot of other stuff, like drag specifically. So when you drag and drop, that's one thing. But when we go so far as to say, you click on something, I hope this, like, handles it differently. Mostly I'm hoping it handles it differently just so I don't have to do the extra testing. We'll see how lazy they did or didn't get. Just putting a quick debug line in here so I can see. Okay, cool. So I can drag it around, I can dump it in inventories, but when I click on it, that's when test goes off. And you'll note the numbers incrementing because I have collapse turned on. There's a lot of them. I just don't feel the need to show them all. So that's good. Okay, so when I click drop-down menu, that hopefully won't be too hard. Hopefully. Inventory item. Oh wait, where'd that UI prefab go? Item UI. I guess so. I can see it. I kind of should dump it under another UI, even though that's silly in some ways. It's how we should handle this. Here's our item UI. I'm just going to dump it under the party UI for now, just so I can see it and it has some kind of visual representation. We are going to create. So actually, oh, drop down. I was going to say, oh, I don't know how to do drop down menus, except, duh. Label, arrow, template, viewport, scroll bar. Holy heck, there's a lot to this. And this is not the kind of drop down I was thinking of, honestly. Maybe I'm better saying that I want a list of buttons, because technically that's more accurate about what I want. Yeah, I technically want a list of buttons more than I do the, let's see, 25. Nope, wrong way. So the idea being that you click on it and this drop-down menu appears wherever. And from there you're presented with options, and you can click on an option, and if you click somewhere else, we just close the menu. Let's see here. I'm just trying to kind of place it and see what the look and feel ends up looking like. And from there we can futz with the rest of this. For example, that's a little too much. But that actually doesn't look too bad. Granted, the text is garbled, but we can fix color. Color is easy. Adding enough contrast to make sure things pop, not a problem. Let's see. So what text should this be? I mean, this is just like choice, right? So you click it, we take the button text, we make it appear, and then we need to copy it a number of times. Or when you generate the item, we just generate all the buttons and then hide and show them, would be the other way to handle this. The only silly thing here is that it's difficult to detect a mouse down that is not over that piece of UI. Bizarre as it may sound, that kind of is the case. You have to do a whole separate script just for that. Not the end of the world, just kind of a pain. Okay, so right now we generate an item UI, and what does that do? It's been, like, I say it's been a while. It kind of has since I created this. So on start, it just creates its own sprite. Let's see here. The item UI should then be able to look at things that can be done to it. For example, discard, kind of important. We've already got equipment taken care of by dragging and dropping. Inspect might be another one. Obviously use. I'm trying to think of other options, things you can do with an item sitting in your inventory. Yeah, that's all I can think of. Let's see here. Curious if I had anything else sitting in my notes for what I could do with items. Let's see. Using items. There we go. Inspecting, merging. Ooh, I didn't think of that. Merging items. So, for example, grouping similar items together. You have two piles of 80 arrows. Oh, look, 160 arrows. And it doesn't take up 2 inventory slots. Hopefully that won't be necessary. Hopefully we'll do just a smart merge. But we might want to allow that level of control. Dropping things, kind of obvious. Equipping and wearing, yeah. Using, yeah. Okay, wow. There aren't as many choices as I thought. I'll give you that. Huh, okay. So really we only have use, discard, merge, and inspect. I don't see anything else. Yeah, I really don't. So what I think I'm going to do, how am I going to handle this? So we've got this, and we want our choices to show up in a certain way. Let's see here. I'm just going to keep playing with this. I love floating point errors. They are the best. Not really. If you're ever wondering why your numbers go to... Okay, there we go. That actually doesn't look too bad. That almost looks decent. I'm amazed. So if you keep wondering why certain numbers, you'll note my my number 60 keeps getting turned into 59.99997. Yeah, I said that right. That's just floating point being unable to accurately show the number at hand that we are trying to put in. Unfortunately, it's something that programmers fight with pretty constantly. And there is no real cure for it. Like, using 64-bit is not a better answer. You're just kind of stuck with... There we go, there's our choices. You're just kind of stuck with it. Like, 64-bit is pretty much so much slower, it's not even worth it. You don't even want to bother. Let's see, use, we've got, I said inspect, we've got merge, and discard. Alright, so I need to fix these buttons, of course. We have the use button, we have inspect button. And every item essentially needs to have certain things turned on and off for it. For example, you can't use all items. How do you use a sword? Is that the equip button? Where would that equip it to, your left or right hand? I'm kind of tempted to take the Microsoft route in terms of my UI. Have multiple ways to do anything. And that actually might not be the worst thing ever. You know what? Actually, let's go that route. So it's kind of a known thing, at least among people who use Windows more than they'd like to, especially older versions like Windows 8, that there's always multiple ways in the operating system to do the same thing. For example, if you want to open the calculator, okay, you can click on the start bar, go to all apps, go to accessories, go to calculator. Or you can say Windows R to open up the run dialog and then just type calc. Or, like, there's a bunch of ways to do it. And that kind of eases usability a bit. The fact that you can click on something and it just kind of says, yeah, you can just attach it like this. It's just kind of how it works. So I think I'm going to go that route. I really like having that set up, if only because if something's user-friendly for one person but not another, I want to make sure I don't alienate either side. If one person likes to use the mouse to click on an object and then say equip, versus I like to drag and drop items, who am I to say one's better than the other, even if one is better than the other? A lot of user experience comes down to usability, so we're going to try and make this as usable as possible, and then we can kind of go from there. So we've got our UI, we've got our buttons. Now we need to figure out how to get the buttons tied in so that they actually do things, and this is kind of the hard part, because there's got to be some way. Inspect, easy enough. Like inspect can be pretty generalized. Merge, I'll have to fight with that on a different date and time. In fact, I'm gonna, if I make it interactable, I love how the whole thing goes a little like see-through here. I'm gonna turn the alpha back up and just, I don't even want to mess with color. Let's make it not interactable and then turn off. You know what? Screw it. This is a game in development. It's totally interactable. And we're just not going to tie anything into it. So there. Cool. Let's see here. I'm also tempted to put these all under a group node, just so that I can turn one object on or off and have all of them appear or disappear. Not really sure if I want that to be the case. Also, sorry guys, my phone is vibrating. I'm curious who's trying to talk to me. Okay, nothing important. Right now we have a product that's mid-launch, and if my phone starts going off, it is in my best interest to check it. Because if somebody started a fire in the data center, if we have people trying to use the software and it doesn't work, obviously I'd rather not be completely clueless about such things. Okay, so the item UI comes up. For items like consumables, use is definitely the way to go. I'm actually tempted to say if item ref is consumable item, because remember, inventory item is just a abstract class. It's just kind of a catch-all to ensure that we have the information we need. So if it's a consumable item, I almost want to say is not consumable item. The Python is really, really starting to rub off on me these days. Not is, I'm not sure I like not as a keyword, like NOT, but I'm also, For Python, it works perfectly and is a great thing. Let's see here. If it's a consumable, if it's not a consumable item, get child. No, transform. There we go. Dot find child. This is our use button. And we're simply going to say, oh, it's the use child's text. Is there a way to set the text of a button from here? It doesn't look like it. I think the button is just the image, so I have to actually go so far as to say find child again. And it's just named text, so that's not too bad. So, okay. Use button, text, get component, text, text. I can't type, but you know what I mean. You guys get me. Alright. We set the text to say equip if the item ref is not a consumable item. That's great. Is there anything else? I need to start tying in the buttons, and that's kind of the part that's catching me right now. I'm not sure. Well, okay, first off, I need the functions, right? We need functions to call. So, on use equip. And then we need, let's see, on inspect. And we're not going to fill in all this functionality right now, but eventually we will need to. On merge. And I don't, yeah, I'll leave merge. At least for now. On discard. Discard's the easiest. Nuking an item should not be terribly difficult. We just have to make sure we remove it from the character's inventory. That's the hardest part of discard, honestly. Alright, buttons. Let's get your callback on. Baby got callbacks. Item UI. The function is called on use equip. And inspect. Wash. I mean, this is just a giant, like, how to use Unity events. I wouldn't call it a tutorial because I'm not actually explaining how Unity events work, because I don't actually know, aside from some basic, like, tie-in information. Wait, did I do that right? No, I didn't. There's my problem. There we go. On inspect. Great. Next one. Item UI goes there. Inventory item on merge. And finally, on discard. Sweet. This actually kind of speeds up our rate of getting this other functionality done too, which is really cool. The fact that we have all these buttons here and are ready to go, taken care of. We can handle this now. Granted, getting this thing to appear and disappear is still kind of a priority we haven't handled yet. Kind of tempted to say, let's see, we have on drag and on drop and a bunch of stuff like that. Tempted to say that we need an update loop here, as much as I hate update loops with a, like, incredible passion. Tempted to say we need it, if only to say, so on click, let's see here. So on click, we want to bring this information up. So we actually want to say find child, transform, find child, and we just want to set them all to active. So Here's our use button. Actually, yeah, whatever. We'll do this the slow way for now. If only because this only happens on click, so I don't really care a ton. Yeah. Game objects, set active, true. Pop, pop, pop. Alright, inspect, merge, discard, right. Cool. And let's see here. If input dot, I guess it's mouse down. Get mouse button. Whether the mouse button is held down, no. Was it clicked down this frame? Yes. This is the one we care about. If we do this, I'm just going to write a little helper function here because this is incredibly annoying to have so many copies of this. Not public. Set, let's see here, context menu active. Much better. Except instead of true, it's just active. And then we pass that in. Set context menu active, true. And then up here, we say set context menu active, false. So now it shows and hides correctly. So I should be able to delete this at this point, this item UI. And now if I bring up the inventory, holy heck, okay. I forgot to turn these off by default. Whoops, wrong action. I click here, I click here. Now it's behind things. Oh god, that's not good. I do like, I click on it, it's there, I click on it again, it goes away, like, that's great. And if it's in this position, like, it looks fine here, but if it's up here, or even worse, over here, we need to make sure it ends up on top of everything. I don't want to do nested canvases. I really, really don't. What's our better way to do this? Is there a better way to change the sort layer of UI in Unity? I really hope so. Image order. Ooh, this might be exactly what I want. Okay, get component canvas dot sorting layer name. Sorting layer name. Interesting. Okay, let's see if we can find that. Hey, Corpusal. Things are going well. Things are going well. We're getting our item use on. All I have to do is figure out what the heck I need to do in order to get this sorting layer correct, because that is not good. Okay, so when we set these objects to active, okay, let's see if there's something in here we can handle first. So image, I don't see sorting layer here. Is there some kind of UI thing I can do to change the sort layer? Some data-driven way to do this, because, you know, that's Unity's favorite thing in the world, data-driven everything. Okay, guys, I got nothing here. Is there no data-driven way to do this? Because that's actually incredibly annoying. let's say we grab our use button, right? Oh. I just realized a problem with changing. Oh, no, we just changed the text, not the name. A sprite renderer and then sorting layer, but sprite renderer doesn't fly well with the fact that it already has a canvas renderer attached to it. That's a completely separate renderer type. Don't know if I want to go mixing and matching. Let's see here. Really? Is there no like sort draw setup in here? Renderer. No. Okay, let's try get component button sort. Nope. Oh, I see. Okay, so this person was talking about how they were looking for it. Depth of the renderer relative to the root canvas. Hello. What have we here? Absolute depth. Depth of the renderer relative to the root canvas. And it's an int. That might be what we're hunting for, honestly. If I have to set that sucker by hand, I will do it. Has moved, has a pop-up instruction, has a render stack, pop, draw call. I guess I don't understand what some of this is attempting to do. Is a mask. Relative depth. That also might be our friend. Renderer, rigid body. I'm looking for a sort layer and not finding it. Okay, let's try the absolute depth and set it to something like 10. I don't know. Cannot be assigned to, it is read only. Fine. Relative depth. Also can't be assigned to. What are those? Okay. Absolute depth. Curious. And unity. I need to continue to remember to attach that. Depth of the renderer relative to the root canvas. Thank you. That was completely unhelpful. Set color, set vertices, set material. Yeah, and then everything else is just garbage. Really? Do I have to attach a new canvas to this? Like, that's kind of... it's not just kind of, it's incredibly disgusting to have to do such a thing. I really don't like that idea. I guess that is the data way to do this. Can't I force menus to be drawn last? I have no idea how. Even though, like, it's not technically a menu, it's technically a bunch of UI buttons that are on the same canvas as everything else. So it's kind of difficult to, like, slap all this stuff onto it. Let's see, rendering. I hate to do this, but, where is it? UI. Where the hell is canvas? Layout? Canvas. Bizarre, but okay. What's a canvas group, out of curiosity? Okay. Alpha, interactable. Interesting indeed. I have no idea. So yeah, Corpse Lol, you actually can have a canvas on a canvas renderer. And it's the most bizarre, whacked out backwards thing I've done. We actually use it quite a bit at work because there's no easier way to control. Here, I guess I'll just show you guys because there's not really an easier way to control the sort order. They just don't have a component for doing so, except to start nesting canvases, which I think is the ugliest thing in the world. But yeah, so if I turn on this, do I have to like make it visible in order for this to kick in? No. Okay, whatever. They must have changed how this works. I don't care. Why is this world space though? No, it should be screen space overlay. Like the... Oh, it's because there's no parent. That's why. Remove that. Item UI, let's put you under the player UI and see if that helps. Hey, little bug. Dog has arrived. Battle Corgi operational. Let's see here. So here's another idea. I'm not sure I'm a huge fan of it, but what we could do, we create an empty object that's not actually empty because, surprise, surprise, it is a single canvas because I don't want to attach new canvases to all of these items. Layout, canvas, hey, look, we're going to overwrite the sorting and our sort order is going to be like 2 or 1, whatever. We then take all these objects, which are turned off currently, and we dump them under here. So this will be our context menu. Yeah, I'll just call it the context menu. Yeah, even though it's bad design by them, I still have to use it is the problem. So even if it's like the worst design ever, I'm still just kind of beholden to how Unity does things. Where the heck is this thing? Okay, there it is. And now, the nice thing is I can now leave all these buttons on and turn off the context menu itself. And through one item, I can now turn things on and off, which is great. And as long as these, yeah, keep their click set up, I don't really need to worry too much. Okay, thank you. One sec, guys. Be right back. I don't need a reason to wear a tie, right, guys? Ties are fun.
Bow ties are cool.
Bow ties are cool. Yes, I suppose. I'm not a huge Matt Smith fan, so I kind of begrudgingly, as a Doctor Who fan, say, I guess bow ties are cool. I wasn't a huge fan of all the things that Matt Smith brought in, all the catchphrases and nah. Alright, so item UI context menu should be off by default. Now we need to make some quick modifications to everything else. Specifically, we have to do more find child calls to get through. Actually, you know what? Can I just get child 0? We're gonna... no, that's terrible. That's terrible programming. I should never do that. Context menu. There we go. Oh, right, and I can do this to make my life a little easier. There we go. That's better. Setting the context menu to active is little more than transform.findChild context menu game objects active. Ta-da! That's nice and easy, at least. That makes that part a lot easier for us. And that is something I can always appreciate. So I can't help but notice that it's not even showing up. Party. What's going on in your inventory here? Where is that object? Okay. Let's say slot 0. No. Oh yeah, slot 0. Okay, its context menu is on. Where the hell is it? Like, I don't even see it getting rendered. Okay, I'm gonna check my scene for this, because this seems way too stupid to be true. Okay, here's our 500 by 500 canvas, decently sized, right? Even if I just make it like, yeah, no, let's just oversize it, don't care. Why are these all turned off? Did I leave those turned off by accident? Context menus on, objects are off? That's backwards. That's not how I meant to do that at all. That's not how any of this works. Context menu is off. Thank you very much. U4 items are on. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't hit apply before I deleted my prefab. There we go. Did I also, let's see. Okay, the sort order and all that layering is set, so that should be fine. Good. Good. That's good. It looks nice. I can't help but notice there's a little corruption here. Like, you can barely see it, but there's a couple lines of pixels here and there. Not the worst thing in the world, but not great either. Yeah, Hobbly Gobbly, you got it. The children are inactive. That is the problem, or that was the problem. Okay, so you click on, and I'm just gonna put a debug log here. Make sure because the last part is to tie this in, excuse me, back to our, to tie it back into the item itself. Oh, I can set pixel pixel perfect in the canvas. Thank you. Okay, I'll try that in a bit. Not what I meant to do. I need to remove that just so I stop walking into it by, like, that's just my default action is like start game, walk forwards, whatever. And I immediately then proceed to walk into things. Okay. I think the fact that we're using update is not good. I think late update is the function. I need to double check this. Unity has a very specific execution order of events, and I want to make sure mine is in here. So late update, okay. Where's the actual, okay. Fixed update, don't care. On mouse events, and then update. So technically, the mouse events should be happening first before the update stuff calls. But just in case that isn't the case, I'll switch it to late update and see if that helps. Alright, click, click, use. I'm not seeing any text here in the console. Backpack slot. Okay, your context menu has a use button, and it's attached to on use equip. So you'll note, despite clicking on the buttons, right, they're there, they're active. I hit equip, and I guess it stops being active before. I'm kind of curious what the event system looks like. Dang it. There we go. Oh, that's weird. These events are bizarre. If you actually look at what, so when I click on this, this makes sense. You click on the item UI object, and that's fine. But then when I mouse over, these aren't even showing up in the event system. Literally, there is no way for the event system to detect these right now. Like, look at this. If you look at this right-hand side where last pointer press, or not last pointer press, sorry, pointer enter is probably a decent one. You'll note that, like, the backpack slot shows up, but this item UI isn't. Oh, you know what? More things I hate about nesting canvases. Let's see here. Let me just... I've done this before. I should know these caveats. I feel like an idiot for not remembering all the caveats, but that's just kind of how it goes sometimes. We have a canvas. Okay. We have our nested canvas. You have to make sure to also attach a graphic raycaster to it. Don't know why it needs its own graphic raycaster, but it does. So, we hit apply, we close this. Yeah, no, it's not even a matter of like changing colors based on what's going on. Like, it's not even a thing, unfortunately, that you can, like, unless you've run into this, it's difficult to realize what's going on. Because once you start doing crazy nested canvas stuff, like, all assumptions go right out the window. And I can't help but notice that it's still not doing anything for these buttons. Want to make sure I did this right, so I'm just going to click through to here. Okay, objects are on. The context menu has a raycaster. And if I click on my event system, I just want to make sure that you can, I'm like even mousing over it. Text. I need to expand this upwards, which means click off, click on. There we go. Okay, so we are on the background, and now we are on text. I don't think the text can block the button, though. I didn't think it could, if it actually did. Seems kind of silly. Module name is the context menu. That's good. Press raycast. Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, it's just not. I want to see all the information here. Yeah, that is so weird that it is not letting me click still. Clearly it's detecting the item is there now, at least. You'll notice the module here is the character inventory versus the module here is the context menu. So clearly something is going on here. Let's stop disabling it on click. Just to see if that helps. I don't think it will, but if it does, I need to figure out a better way. Okay, that is definitely our problem. So, okay, off this goes. Late update. That's funny. It's really eligible for click false. So unfortunately it's showing the text, and the text is not eligible for click. It's the button underneath that's eligible for click, but it doesn't show that. It shows the furthermost object on the hierarchy. So unfortunately that ends up being our that ends up being the text, even though the text is something that it can't even like click on or have any events thrown on. Here we go. New idea. We're going to invoke this method. Oh, but I can't. Let's see. Hide. And we're going to invoke it in later, is essentially what I'm saying. Just invoke it later. I don't care how much later. If I want to be really precise, a frame later. Seems kind of silly I would need to do something like this. But I've done sillier things to make Unity happy in the past, so let's see if this works. No, still too quickly. I don't know. I'm just going to try turning this up and see if this helps. If this is a patch for this in the meantime, I'll be happy with it. I won't really care if it's, you know, the only way I can get this to go. Equip, inspect, no. None of them, really. This is way too much time. Just saying. A quarter of a second. So most of the time it's just disappearing it on its own again. And then in some cases it's going so far as to actually like do it later. Okay, step one. If you click during the update, right, I'm removing the late part, transform.findChild, context menu, GameObject.active. So if you click and it's active, then we get rid of it. Context menu is this monster right here. How does it feel to be the top of the game dev category? I am? Really? Last I saw, there were a bunch of other people on who were doing interesting things. Whoa, I am. Well, thank you guys for dragging me to the top of the game dev category. I know that's not terribly difficult sometimes, but I still appreciate it nonetheless. And hopefully you guys are getting enough out of this that people understand maybe why I'm at the top. It's good to be king. I don't know. What do you ever say to being the top of a Twitch category? I'm the king of my tiny little world. And I do not mind. In fact, I can thank you guys, all those of you who are in chat right now, for active self. There we go. And then we invoke hide. No, we're just going to call the set context menu active false. I'm going to try and get rid of that hide function if I can. I would love to not have that there. That feels like a giant freaking hack that I really don't want to have to use. Okay, there's that, and then there's that. So this is still failing. You're I am. Yes. Alright, I don't know why I felt the need to do that. Thanks, Corpse Law. You guys make me do bizarre things. Alright, fine. We're going back to invoke. Tenth of a second should be more than long enough for our mouse click to propagate through the event system. Good. Can I turn this down at all? Or am I really stuck at something like a tenth of a second? Because keep in mind, a tenth of a second is... Oh, can I do that? Can I do the invoke method false? I don't think I can do that. I'm pretty sure it accepts a string. Like, I'm pretty sure that won't fly if I try and do that. I thought you could only do method names. Yeah, trying to invoke a method that couldn't be called. It's looking for method names, unfortunately. That does mean hide context menu is kind of my best bet here. It really just comes down to no string. I don't think you can do that without a string, can you? No, it's just string method name float time. That's all you get. Unless there's like an invoke method, invoke repeating. Yeah, no, I don't. Whoa, wait a minute. Code snippet for safely invoking an event. Oh god, no, not what I want. Not what I want at all. So I click here, I click here. Okay, so point, what is it? A quarter? No. That's just too slow, or too fast, I should say. 1/10 of a second it is. Now, this is going to cause me trouble. If only because, actually, no, it's not. Because what I can do is I can do this. So when you click on it, I hide the context menu so that you can't click on it too quickly. That actually is a decent solution. It's not great, but it's decent, and I can handle decent solutions. At least until I come up with something better if it turns out to be a problem. As you'll learn very quickly, a lot of... Okay, some of these aren't kicking it. That's interesting. I'm still going just a little too fast. Okay, if the mouse button is down, let's see. Okay, yeah, we're just gonna store context menu game objects. It is just that much easier to handle this way. Game object. Come on. Work with me, Unity. Work with me, and specifically, don't crash, please. I'd be somewhat unhappy if you crashed. There we go. Apply. Great. Let's get that out of here again. So we've got this context menu reference. And what I intend on doing, if you click and context menu .active self, we can kind of compress this back down again. Let's see here. The question becomes, so the inventory UI, we also know that the context, if the context menu dot get components, how do we do this? We get the rectangle transform attached to it, and now we can check if there's a point inside of a rectangle pretty freaking easily. If it contains our mouse pointer, input dot mouse position. There is a vector 3. If it contains the point, then we're going to set this to false. Ta-da! Yeah. And just for the sake of compression, is that overkill? No. No, it's not. That's actually kind of hard to read. I'm not a huge fan of that right there. Better idea. I can store the rectangle transform, and then I can convert out to game object easier. So, let's see here. Oh, this code needs to get switched. This should be context menu dot game object dot active self. And then we can remove the... There we go. That's shorter and better. Shorter, sweeter, easier taken care of, more easily taken care of. Apply, done. That's how get mouse button down works, corpse lol. It's actually is the mouse down this turn and was up previously. The problem being that, woo, interesting. So they're not turning themselves off. Oh, because it contains. If it doesn't contain the mouse, we need to turn it off. Silly me. I click here, I click here. It's kind of silly because it's Man, is there no easy solution for this? Am I just going to keep fighting this? Oh crap, guys, it's 9. I did not realize the time. Guys, I got to take off. I hate to say it, but I have to run. As much fun as it's been, thank you guys for joining me. If you really liked what you saw and you want to see more, hit the follow button. Or if you just like game development, hit the follow button. If you just feel like it, hit the follow button. We'll figure out this bug. I'll nail this sucker down. Essentially, what we want here is to be able to just click and then be like, yeah, I want to use the item. And he'll drink the health potion or equip the weapon, or when you hit inspect, we bring up a little window with all the text in it. Unfortunately, we got caught up fighting with this bug the whole time, so we didn't really get a ton of progress here. But thanks, guys, for joining me. Hopefully, we will be able to either crush this tomorrow. I like to do a nice long Saturday stream. So hopefully I can just like destroy this tomorrow and then mash a bunch of other things in. I don't know when tomorrow, probably afternoon Pacific Standard, but I still am unable to like set a specific time for Saturdays. Hopefully I'll be able to do that soon so that you guys can join me at the specified time and day. But otherwise, guys, thanks for joining me today. It's been a lot of fun. We made some progress. We definitely didn't go nowhere. We definitely went somewhere. There we go. Better grammar. Got to work on that too. So, thanks again, guys. Take care. Have a great day. Later.